Hi, it's Friday, June 10th, 2016. Monaco 64 here, home of alternative economics and contrarian view. I'm going to cover the sovereign bond market today, or government bond market, mainly because we're hearing more and more how trillions and trillions of government bonds are yielding negatively right now. They have negative yields. And right now we're up to 10 trillion, about 10 trillion, and I think it's about to get bigger than the number. And it's mainly in Europe and Japan. And there's a story from 2 days ago in the FT, and it says Japan's BTMU threatens to quit JGB Primary Dealers Club. Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi is the biggest bank in Japan. They're threatening to quit as a primary dealer of Japanese government bonds. Primary dealers basically they buy government bonds when the government issues it, and then they take it on their books and then they try to sell it onto their clients. This is not technically, and for the government in Japan, is not a huge deal right now because the Japanese government, or the central bank, Bank of Japan, is buying all the JGBs from the government. So but it's very significant that, the biggest bank in Japan is saying, look, all the JGBs now have negative yields and it's very risky for us. I'll put a link to a video I did a few months ago about this risk in government bonds, or bonds in general, called convexity, which basically means that the lower the yield goes, the higher the price goes. And the other thing as well, convexity is basically goes parabolic. If the bond has a longer maturity, like 10-year bond, the price will go up almost parabolic. The lower the yield gets, and especially when it starts getting negative. So, and that's one of the reasons why people are still buying negative yielding bonds, because a lot of people don't understand, how can you buy a negative yielding bond, and you're paying the government to take your money. But for speculators, it's a great deal because the price is going up. But there is another side to the coin, of course. When yields or interest rates turn for some reason, the price will turn on a dime, and all these speculators are gonna try to rush out of a cinema on fire. It's going to be ugly. At the moment, people are still comfortable because they think rates are going to be lower, the economy is slow. But I think this BTMU, Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi story, is a little bit of a warning. These guys are saying, we don't want to take the risk of buying negative yielding bonds and keep it on our books. So this is quite interesting in my opinion. The other point I want to make is about the German government bond, because that's the benchmark for outside US Treasuries. The German government bond market is like the benchmark for Europe. And up to 9 years now, all the Bund yields are negative. All the German government bond yields are negative. The 2-year yield in Germany is minus 0.55%. The 5-year, or the bubble 5-year Bund yield, is minus 0.42, and the 10-year Bund right now is 0.03. So only 4 basis points away from going negative. And I'd like to show you something very interesting, and it's the chart of the German 10-year Bund futures, which is something I used to trade a lot for my clients. And I remember back in the 90s trading at a price below 100, which would have meant that the yield was above 6%, because the nominal yield of the Bund future is 6%. If you look at this, since the beginning of the 2000s, we've gone from around 105 as a price, so the yields were just below 6%. But recent, look at the chart. Look how it's moving up. It's like a bubble, in my opinion. And when it turns, it's gonna be ugly. We could still see it go higher, you know, when as yields go negative. But you know, when are banks and pension funds going to be, you know, saying we don't want this anymore? And then central banks are going to have to buy even more and more of this, you know, rubbish, in my opinion. So the German 10-year Bund now looks like it's making, yeah, it's making all-time highs here, 164.50. And it could go higher as the yields go negative, but it's a very, you know, risky proposition. You have to be very nimble. I think when the interest rate picture turns, you could see that, you know, turn very quickly, because in my opinion, it's a lot of it is speculators buying this because they know that the central banks at the moment, they're promising to keep buying the stuff, QE, you know, the ECB, you know, the Bank of Japan. And I'm sure if commercial and investment banks start saying, oh, we don't want to be involved anymore, you know, these central banks are gonna come up to the plate and buy it. But I think this is the biggest bubble. It's the government bond market. And we could see it go higher and yields continue to go lower, but beware, you know, this is crazy in my opinion. These are supposed to be, you know, safe investments with governments, but it's becoming more like a speculative bubble in my opinion. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll put a link below to my previous video about the mechanics of the bond market. It will help you understand about, you know, convexity, duration. And I hope you enjoy this. Take care. Bye.